And as BNB chain and Solana keeps on halting the businesses on them, if Algorand continues to be a no fault platform, then it can quickly become top 3 blockchains in the world.
What's going on, everybody? JT here, and I am with Harish Gupta, the founder of FXDX Exchange, a derivatives exchange on Algorand. I'm excited to have this conversation. I just recently started using FXDX a couple of weeks ago, and it's been a blast so far. So super excited to have this conversation. I want to welcome Harish to the show. How you doing?
Doing well, JT. Thanks so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for your time.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm very excited to have this conversation. I know FXDX was part of the Algorand Foundation and Draper University Accelerator Program, along with other well-known Algorand projects such as AB2 Gallery, Exa Finance, Cosmic Champs, and Weblin. Before we start off on what FXDX is, I want to just get a brief, could you speak a little bit on this accelerator program and how it might have helped FXDX along the way?
It was amazing. It helped us to introduce us to the Algorand ecosystem. It helped us, get in touch with some really ambitious people who guided us in, building up this venture. And yeah, I think that is it was this particular program that helped us convince to build on Algorand. The development took pretty long time of about 9 months. But, at the end of 9 months, the baby was born and released into the world. And then, since then, we have been clocking good volumes. And then, by volume, by far, we are the largest DEX and DApp on Algorand blockchain.
Yeah, by volume, it's definitely been pretty impressive, honestly. So, and these accelerator programs have been great. They've been the home and birthplace for a lot of fantastic projects on Algorand. So, really great when I was doing the research to find out that a program that you guys were a part of was, as I mentioned, a program that many applications that people love already on Algorand came out of. So, great to hear, great to hear. And, why don't we just start off with a brief, what is FXDX? And what separates it from all the other decentralized exchanges on Algorand?
So FXDX is a decentralized futures exchange. Futures without any expiry, called perpetuals. What it enables is it enables traders to trade different coins on Algorand blockchain with leverage. So of course, Algorand coin, but also other coins on the Algorand blockchain can be brought in and traded on this particular platform. So we provide about like 30 times leverage, and that's what we do.
Yeah, I noticed the leverage bars go up to about 30x. Was that a internal decision to limit it at 30x, or was that a decision based on math and code, or was that just a personal decision? Where did you come to that number?
Yeah, I mean, we want. It was an internal decision because we want balance. We want people to be making more profits than spot market. So we want people to be making, above what they have if they were only holding algo. But outside of that, we also don't want them to lose and liquidate quickly. So if we give too less leverage, it's not very profitable. But if we give too much leverage, it's just too risky.
Yeah.
So 20, 30 times seems pretty fair for leverage traders. So that's why we decided to keep it at 30.
Beautiful. Does FXDX have any intention to operate as a DAO in the future where maybe users could vote on changes? Maybe they actually want to see it go down to 10 to 15x. Maybe they want to see it go up to 50x. Is this something that might be left up to the users in the future, and maybe other decisions on the platform as well?
Yeah, I mean, converting to a DAO is definitely on the mind. So it's definitely in the pipeline, but we haven't committed to it yet. I think, the focus has right now been to grow.
Yeah.
Grow the TVL, grow the volumes. And at one point, when there are actually lots and lots of stakeholders, then it makes a lot more sense. Right now, the total users is over 350 people. But I think, once we grow that to a substantial number, at that point, it makes more sense to convert it to a DAO or explore seriously whether we should go for it or not.
Yeah, it makes absolutely good sense to me. So you mentioned, growing the platform, growing the TVL. So FXDX has about, I think, about $500,000 already of liquidity on the platform, give or take. And I know that liquidity providers purchase what is called FLP token. So if I could get you to discuss what FLP token is, and then what is FXDX's game plan to increase liquidity on the platform?
FLP token is essentially a liquidity providing coin or staking coin. So let's say you have Algorand coin, BTC on Algo, Ethereum on Algo, and so on. And whatever listed assets you have, you bring in those assets and put it on the platform, and in return, you get FLP coins. The advantage of having FLP coin is we will give you 70% of the total platform fees per week as an FLP holder. And the idea behind growing TVL is, we are adding more listings. As we talk, we are working on listing Folks Finance, GAlgo. So I think, some of these initiatives can help us boost the TVL.
Yeah.
And then, as there will be more and more interoperability applications being developed, people will be more keen on bringing assets from other chains to this chain in a seamless manner. So our utility increases as there is more interoperability.
And users can see on the application that the FLP token right now, it's earning something like 300% APY in these rewards. I'd imagine those rewards are coming from the 70% of fees that you just mentioned. Do users have to do anything to earn those rewards, or just hold FLP? Do they have to stake it in any farm or anything like that, or is it just for holders?
Yeah, no, you just buy FLP from the yield farming page of FXDX, and that is it. You start getting reward, and once you see that you have accumulated quite a bit of it, you can go claim it back into the platform. So you have to claim it from the platform. It's not automatically given to you in the wallet, but you do have to come to the platform and then claim it.
Fantastic. And users can just swap in and out of that FLP token as they choose, correct, on the platform?
Anytime.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And you mentioned in a little bit ago the addition of new assets, including GAlgo and the like. Are there any other Algorand assets that FXDX is considering adding? Maybe some of the ASAs, or are you focusing just on the bigger ones right now, like goBTC, goETH, XSOL, GAlgo, and the like?
Yeah. So the model only allows as of now to list only highly liquid coins. Right, so we are adding, various versions of Algo, BTC, Ethereum, Solana, and whatever is available in the ecosystem in higher up the ladder, we will list it. So we always are open to suggestions. Someone suggested us look into GAlgo, and now we are listing it.
I do think the GAlgo is a good addition because it doesn't perfectly trail the price of Algo, but it's so close that it's basically the same thing. And there's going to be tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of them in the ecosystem, while Algo's locked up in governance. So I do think that's a great idea to add GAlgo as well as all the other liquid tokens. It does make sense. You don't want the really illiquid ASAs that are already super volatile on a leverage platform where people are just going to get wrecked because they can't move in and out of these positions. Let's see. So some of the APY that's earned in the FLP token, I want to bring this back to that a little bit. That's paid out to users. Some of the reward, at least it's shown as escrowed FXDX. What is the timeline on the release of the FXDX token, and what would the utility of that token be?
The TGE, we haven't announced it yet. We are really focused on growing the venture, growing the volume per day, growing the TVL. So once we think it has achieved substantial scale, at that point I think it makes more sense to release the coins, because at that point it will have a boosted FTV, a fully diluted valuation of the company, as well as per token price, and it's better that way for everyone, all the stakeholders, to receive a large token price down the line. So in terms of timeline, we don't have it yet. but we are working on it.
Fantastic. I always like when projects release a token after the project is live and successful as opposed to before, because before it's just pure speculation. You don't know if the project's going to work. You don't know if it's going to be a good application or not. And at least afterwards, you have, it removes some of the speculation because it's like, oh, this project's already been perfectly fine for 6 months. So I always do appreciate when projects do that. I want to bring this back a little bit to the earn page of FXDX. So part of that page, there's something called multiplier points. Could you explain what multiplier points are?
Yeah, it's in short, it's essentially incentives to hold your coins longer.
So this is just a way for people to incentivize holders to hold onto their coins for longer and thus earn more yield because of it, correct?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. And is there a place on the page where people can learn exactly how these multiplier points work and like based on how long you hold the token?
Yeah. So it is in the white paper. So if the users go to the white paper section on the website, it should be there.
Awesome. And I'll include the link to the white paper down in the description below so that way people don't have to look too hard for it. I want to talk about FXDX going forward because right now, it's an application where people can go and trade derivatives. They can long and short Algorand, Solana, BTC, Ethereum, and the like. But I want to talk about what FXDX has coming, down the pipeline. And on Q4, the roadmap for Q4 includes cross-chain integrations and bridging. So I'd like to ask, what chains will FXDX be looking to add to the exchange?
I think that's a secondary question for us right now. The primary problem that we're trying to solve for this particular exchange on Algorand blockchain is on-ramp and off-ramp. And by that, I don't mean, fiat to crypto and crypto to fiat. What I mean is interoperability. We can scale really quickly, really big, if Ethereum and EVM users like Avalanche, Solana guys, Polygon, all of those guys, traders on those blockchains can come and trade on this particular exchange. So how do they do that? It's through the bridges, wraps. So like if you can solve them, and it is actually being solved right now by other products and apps in the ecosystem. So like if that component is solved, or it is solved via state proofs, if the state proof solves the interoperability of Algorand so that it's easy to move in and out of Algorand chain. So we can list on any assets. Let's say there is a token built on Solana, right? Or there's a token built on Polygon. We can list that particular token, and through bridges and wraps, anyone can trade that particular token on this particular exchange. Our number one priority is really solving the interoperability part. Sure, we are waiting for other products to go live and be stable, but like we're also working on solving by ourselves. So one thing we are doing is we are working with Glitter Finance. We are working on integrating Wormhole. We are looking into London Bridge, Messina One, and so on. Which all of these are different kinds of bridge initiatives by different labs.
That's fantastic because honestly, the interoperability game in at least the Algorand ecosystem is evolving so quickly. I mean, you mentioned a couple of the bridges that are either live or going live currently, like Glitter Finance, Wormhole. We've got GoMINT. We've got the London Bridge as well, and we have Milkomeda that just recently launched their EVM A1 rollup and a application called Blueshift, which is going to be connecting Cardano and Algorand using this Milkomeda rollup. So there's a lot of interoperability coming, and I think a lot of possibility for FXDX to integrate and, as you said, increase the amount of assets on their platform using all these bridges. So that's fantastic. So I know that we're the main problem and main focus of FXDX right now is boosting usership and liquidity on the platform and volume and the like. But I still want to ask about some of the things on the roadmap. So on the roadmap, it mentions NFT derivatives, and I'd really love to know how this would work in the future. I know it's probably down the line, not top priority, but I'm really interested in how that would work.
Yeah. So NFT derivatives are essentially, let's say you have one high valued NFT. You lock it in a smart contract, and then you fractionalize it via issuing a pool of tokens, and say, let's say you issue 100 tokens, which represent a particular NFT. So now an NFT has become fungible. So once it has become fungible, it can be traded like any other coin in the market, right? So that's the idea behind it. But like that's not our end goal. Our end goal is to get to a point where we can trade literally anything, where we can enable leverage trading of any asset. Sure, starts from BTC and Algo, but doesn't end anywhere. So it includes NFTs, it includes real world assets which have been tokenized, and any particular, tokens, but essentially anything that can be tokenized and people want to hedge on or leverage on, we want to enable it in this particular decentralized ecosystem on Algo blockchain.
I like that you mentioned real world assets as well, because that's something that's lacking in the crypto space tremendously. And I just recently had a conversation with Michael Carpentier, the CEO of Vesta Equity, and they're focused on tokenizing home equity. And he mentioned a potential partnership with Folks Finance and allowing to use these home equity assets basically as collateral types on Folks Finance to borrow against. And I think that'd be a great path, whether it's something like Vesta Equity or maybe Lofty AI real estate tokens or something of this sort, just to have more real world assets on the platform, whether as liquidity or to trade against. So that's fantastic. Now I have to ask, is FXDX currently open source?
So we will be opening up our GitHub at one point. But yes, the GitHub is right now private. But we have been in the space in the market for mainnet for over 2 months.
Awesome. Yeah, it's not been too long at all, honestly. I mean, in the crypto space, though, 2 months can sometimes seem like 2 years. So, maybe I'll take that statement back. But it hasn't been too long at all. The big question on everyone's mind, of course, so I have to ask it is, what is the plan for an audit? We all know in the ecosystem that audits are unfortunately tremendously expensive and take forever to get done. But it's a question everyone asks, so I definitely have to ask it as well.
Yeah, so audit is in the pipeline, and we are thinking to getting it done here as soon as possible. So that is definitely in the pipeline.
Awesome, fantastic. And this probably wouldn't work yet until you open up the GitHub, but are there any plans in the future to launch any sort of bug bounties or anything of the like?
Yeah, I mean there has been private bug bounty, and a lot of people have commented about it, but we do receive comments regarding this, and we do reward anyways.
Yep.
So even though we don't have a formal bug bounty in place, but we are open to suggestions, and if there are things that are legitimate, we definitely compensate, and we have compensated in the past regarding this.
Awesome, fantastic. And I want to take this discussion just, I missed a question here on back to the roadmap. So on the roadmap, there's something called block trading, and I've never heard of this term. So if you could just illuminate myself and maybe the audience as well on what block trading is, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little unrelated to FXDX decentralized exchange, but a lot of users who are asset managers, hedge fund managers, they are opening up to crypto. And as they open up the crypto, they don't only want to trade on the spot markets, but they also want to trade on derivatives market. And since we have been working in the futures and derivatives space for so long while building this venture, we have built a lot of contacts and understanding, and we want to leverage that to help institutional traders trade derivatives over the counter. So I think that's also a pretty big business that we are planning on getting into. So
I think that's huge, actually, the over-the-counter trading, the market in general. I mean, retail is awesome. I mean, I'm a retail investor myself, but it can only get you so far. The institutional grade growth is definitely something that should be tackled. So certainly would be great to see some over-the-counter trading. Is there any sort of timeline on when you're going to try to implement that?
We are shooting for Q4 this year or Q1 next. So it's in the pipeline. We have been working on it. But as the next step, we are going to observe GAlgo listing. So we're going to list GAlgo and see how the platform and closer audience reacts to it, and see where it takes us in terms of volume and TBL.
What's the timeline on adding GAlgo? Just curious.
It could be as early as this weekend.
Oh wow, awesome.
It could be as early as don't quote me on this, but like it could be as early as before you release this video, it should be live.
I don't know. I can be quick. I can be pretty quick on these videos, so it'll be a challenge now.
So it's gonna be a competition between listening to Yalga and this particular video going live.
Fantastic. I mean, they could go live at the exact same time. Who knows? So this is a pretty, just a high-level, vague question, not necessarily about FXDX in general, but I got to ask, why did you end up choosing to build on Algorand? Because there's, of course, so many different L1s out there. I have my own personal reasons on why I prefer Algorand, but I always like to ask builders on why they chose.
Algorand particularly places itself as the future of digital finance, and very few, if at all, other blockchains are so focused towards placing themselves as the future of digital finance. So if you look around, literally nobody does that. And me coming from Wall Street finance background, I was looking for some platform that aligns with the vision of building the financial world on chain, and Algorand stood out. And then once we entered into the ecosystem, Algorand helped us with so many things in the early days, introduced us to the ecosystem. And then the Accelerator Program was also technically beneficial, so it helped us with a lot of resources that are needed to build on Algo chain.
Fantastic. And has FXDX considered applying for any sort of Algorand Foundation grants, maybe in a way to use that grant money to, spread the message a little bit more and try to acquire more liquidity on the platform?
We applied for a tiny grant like 1 year ago. We received the grant, and after that, we are working on re-engaging them on this particular topic. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, we excited to be continue building on Algorand. And I think there's a very strong potential for Algorand standing out in the future as there are more and more dApps coming in, and as BNB chain and Solana keeps on halting the businesses on them. If Algorand continues to be a no fault platform, then it can quickly become top 3 blockchains in the world.
I think so as well, honestly. And I just have to say, from just for full disclosure as well, that we probably had a conversation weeks ago because I made a couple tweets about FXDX, and it looked like there were a couple things that looked like GMX, and maybe I jumped the gun on that because about a week or two later I tried the platform and I actually really do like it. So I just want to put that out there that potentially I was wrong with my initial knee gut reaction on my tweet. So I just want to put that out there. But before we move on, I want to ask, is there anything we haven't discussed today? Because I know we've discussed a lot about FXDX, but I want to make sure we hit on all the key points. So is there anything we haven't discussed that you want to bring attention to my audience?
Not that I could think of.
Awesome. Well, if there's nothing else that you can think of, I've run through all of my questions. So I'll leave the floor to you. Where can my audience go to learn more? Learn more about the platform, try out the platform, and go from there.
Absolutely. The best place is FXDX.exchange. And from there, all the links and everything leads you to the right places depending on what info you need. But yeah, FXDX.exchange is the best place to go at.
Awesome. And I'll include that link down in the description below. Do you guys have a Discord group or a Telegram group or anything of the sort?
Everything.
Awesome. And you can find that all on the FXDX.exchange?
Everything. Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, this has been a great discussion, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come on my show.
Likewise. Thank you so much for setting this up, and really appreciated your time.
Not a problem at all. I'd be happy to have you on as more things develop on FXDX and on Algorand in the future.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank
Take
you.
care, Harish. All right, everybody, that was my conversation with Harish Gupta of FXDX Exchange. If you liked the content, smash that thumbs up button and consider subscribing to the channel. Also, ping that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. We have some fantastic guests coming up for the rest of this year, and you're not going to want to miss any of it. And before you go, check out the video description for links to Lofty AI, in which you could earn $25 towards your next real estate investment using my link. Lofty AI is a fantastic application I use every day, built on Algorand to invest in real estate. I currently am a partial owner of about 22 different properties, and the rental income comes in daily. It's a fantastic product. Check out the video description for a link to get $25 towards your first investment. as well as a link to Folks Finance to sign up for Algorand Governance Period 5. Using my referral link, you'll help out this channel tremendously, and you'll help out the Algorand ecosystem by signing up for governance. So check out the video description for links to Lofty AI, get that $25, sign up for Algorand governance, like, subscribe, ping that notification bell, and we will catch you in the next one. Thanks.